What's up guys, it's LBT from Combat Culture, and in today's video we are dissecting on how Judo, JiuJitsu, Wrestling, and Sambo all synergize with Muay Thai in the world of MMA. So all four of these martial arts have their own unique history, techniques, strength, and weaknesses, and have all played a huge role in shaping what mixed martial arts is today. So let's take a deeper look in each of them. So first up is Judo. Judo, meaning gentle way in Japanese, is a modern martial art and combat sport founded by Jigoro Kano in the late 19th century. It emphasizes techniques that allow a smaller, weaker practitioner to overcome a larger, stronger opponent through leverage and techniques rather than brute strength. Judo practitioners practice a wide assortment of sweeps, takedowns, and throws, such as the soanagi and uchigari, all designed to off-balance and control your opponents. These techniques integrate well with Muay Thai's clinch work, allowing fighters to dictate the pace of the fight and create openings for further attacks. Judo competitors typically have a really strong base with really good balance, making it very hard to sweep them off of their feet or to take them down. So one of the biggest drawbacks of Judo and MMA is its limited focus on ground fighting and submission fighting compared to other arts like JiuJitsu. And also the lack of no-gi training might make it hard when you're initially transitioning over to MMA. So we're talking about notable Judo practitioners that have made a big name in MMA. We're talking about the likes of Ronda Rousey, Kayla Harrison, Yoshihiro Akiyama, Valentina Shevchenko, and Satoshi Ishii, all of whom had great success transitioning from competitive Judo to MMA. So next, let's explore Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a modern martial art and combat sport that traces its roots back to Judo in the early 20th century. Some of the notable names that helped the growth of Jiu-Jitsu include one of Jigoro Kano's students, Mitsuo Maeda, and the Gracie family from Brazil. Developed from traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu emphasizes on leverage, position control, and technique, allowing for smaller, weaker practitioners to defend against larger, stronger opponents. Renowned on its focus for submissions and position control, Jiu-Jitsu is one of the cornerstones of MMA today. By blending the strikes of Muay Thai and the ground fighting of Jiu-Jitsu, fighters can keep their opponents guessing and maintain control of the fight in any situation. So when it comes to pros, there really aren't any other martial arts that has as much depth as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when it comes to ground fighting. Another strength of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the fact that they teach their students to fight on their back and to be comfortable fighting on their back. Now that's commonly regarded as a disadvantageous position. And that could also be a con too, because oftentimes in Jiu-Jitsu, it's normal to accept to be fighting on your back in the guard position while you look for opportunities to sweep your opponent or for submission. Now while this can work really well in an environment that doesn't include strikes, in MMA, fighting on your back can be a challenge, especially if you're against an equally skilled opponent fighting on the ground. And there's also a lack of takedowns compared to some other grappling arts, and also less emphasis on takedown defense. Because again, in Jiu-Jitsu, it's normal to accept fighting on your back, but with striking involved, it changes things quite a bit. So when we talk about notable BJJ practitioners in the world of MMA, we have folks like the Diaz brothers, Charles Oliveira, Fabricio Verdum, Damian Maia, and of course the Gracie family, who are synonymous with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and played a pivotal role in really showcasing its effectiveness in the early days of MMA. So next, let's dive into wrestling, another cornerstone of mixed martial arts with deep historical roots. So wrestling encompasses different styles, each with their own focus on takedowns, control, and ground fighting. Freestyle wrestling, born from catch as catch can wrestling in the United States, is known for its dynamic takedowns, leg attacks, and fast-paced action. Fighters in freestyle wrestling typically utilize a wider range of techniques to take down and control their opponents. And then there's Greco-Roman wrestling, which has its roots in ancient Greece and Rome. It prohibits holds below the waist, focusing primarily on upper body control and throws. Fighters in Greco-Roman wrestling develop exceptional upper body strength and technique. Wrestling emphasis on takedowns and control, both offensively and defensively, makes it an excellent complement to the strikes of Muay Thai, allowing the fighters to dictate where the fight takes place and to maintain dominant positions. And typically wrestlers have a go all out mentality. When they shoot for a takedown, they usually won't give up until they complete the takedown or the opponent completely escapes. And because of the explosiveness, power, and gas tank it takes, wrestlers are some of the strongest athletes in combat sports with some of the best physical conditioning. And the biggest con of wrestling is the lack of submissions and the very little ground fighting, all of which can make it very dangerous for a wrestler if they're ever fighting on their back. And in wrestling, names such as Daniel Cormier, Randy Couture, Matt Hughes, Dan Severn, and Henry Cejudo have all left a mark in MMA. And I also want to give a quick shout out to catch wrestling, also known as submission wrestling. And as the name suggests, it's a form of wrestling that focuses on submissions and joint locks. Famous catch wrestlers include Josh Barnett, Kazushi Sakuraba, also known as the Gracie Hunter, and Abraham Lincoln. And last but not least, we've got Sambo. So Sambo is short for this, which translates to self-defense without weapons in Russian. And it's a modern martial art and combat sport with roots in the Soviet Union. Created in the early 20th century, Sambo was developed by integrating several different martial arts including JiuJitsu, Judo, and traditional wrestling styles. And when it comes to pros, Sambo's versatility really is tailor-made for MMA. Sambo practitioners are trained to transition between striking, grappling, and ground fighting, covering both offense and defensive aspects, ensuring that they're prepared for almost any scenario. Although Sambo does cover a wide range of techniques, it doesn't really get in depth as many of the other grappling arts that we've covered today, which can potentially create weaknesses that can be exploited by fighters who specialize in a certain style. And it's really a case of a jack of all trades, master of none type of situation. And another drawback is the lack of reputable Sambo schools outside of Russia. Hopefully that'll change in the future. And in Sambo, you have fighters like Olev Taktarov, Andrei Arlovsky, Islam Makhachev, Fedor Emelianenko, and Khabib Nurmagomedov, who have all showcased Sambo's versatility and effectiveness in the cage, solidifying its place in mixed martial arts. So before we end this video, I want to do some hypothetical pairings with grappling arts and different styles in Muay Thai. So one that comes to mind would be a Muay bulk fighter with a wrestler, because they're both explosive and high pressure styles. Or maybe on the other side of the spectrum, we've got Muay femur and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is going to be a lot more strategic and adaptable. Or maybe a Muay cow or Muay sock fighter with a Judo. Now that would be very dangerous within the close range, and Muay cow fighters are typically very good at closing the distance. Or maybe a Muay Det or Muay Mat with Sambo, ensuring that all your bases are covered. So what do you guys think? Were there any grappling arts that I left out? If you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit the like and subscribe button and let us know if there's other videos that you want us to come out with. We'll be back with more videos very soon. Until then, keep training, stay healthy, and be safe. We'll see you guys in the next one.